intertwine with their universe, and its cosmic symphony.
What's cooking? Boom! You know
See you
what's
later,
cooking?
nerds.
Boom!
Такая халява!
There is nothing that can stop this! There is nothing that can stop this man!
Team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
What
the f just happened?
Это такая душка!
10억짜리 구매고기! 15억짜리 구매고기!
哎，队友呢？
队友嘞？
哎，队友呢？队友呢？
队友呢？
Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Dire team pick. Radiant team.
I speak for the trees.
All right. It took us a little bit, but we are finally into our first game of the day here in the EUCIS division of the ESL 1 Birmingham Online. I'm Renessa, one of your casters, and I am joined by Enog. How are you doing on this, I guess, evening for you?
Yeah, it's a bit past midnight here in Australia, but I mean, when you get a chance to but you're going to take it every single time, and well, the draft is going pretty quickly now that we're out of the banning phase.
I think everybody's just ready to play after, there were some game coordinator issues that, of course, delayed us slightly, but we're there. These were really fast first two picks. That was impressive, but I'm imagining these teams know each other pretty well after a lot of quarantine study.
Oh yes, absolutely. And so this particular Europe CIS division, it's split into Group A and Group B. So these are Group A matches, and as to be said, GAMBIT at the moment they're sitting at a series record of 0-3, coming up against the 2-0 from Team NIGMA. So it's a little dicey for GAMBIT. I think NIGMA's really started to come into their own as well, and I really like them starting out with this Nature's Prophet pick as well, just because, of course, we've seen Mind Control play it with really good effectiveness, we've seen Kuro play it, but in more recent times we've been seeing Miracle play a lot more of these active carries, the Slack, the Nature's Prophet, the Ricky, the Weaver, the ones that need to roam around and make kills happen for them to take out the win. So it's not revealing too much about their draft.
Yeah, the flexibility of Dota heroes over the past, honestly, few years has changed the face of drafting pretty significantly. Just because of that. It's something that I like to point out. I don't think flex picks prevalence a few years ago as they are now.
No, you were a lot more locked into the when someone did discover that a hero could be played in, more flexible arrangements, then suddenly a huge for your drafting potential, and a lot of these didn't happen.
Yeah, and
see, these times it's a little bit more fluid, I suppose, between the teams.
it looks like both teams are looking to be really active, just constantly fighting right now. Like you said, the Nature's Prophet, if played as, the core role, is very active. Even if played in the support role, is very active and moving around. And then you've got Chen, Earthshaker, Quap. These are heroes that are going to move around. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Chen, Earthshaker, if
mindful of, like, on this 7.26 patch, they haven't won a single game, so it's a little bit concerning for them. That responsibility has to come on XS Vampire, because in his position 4 role, he's been roaming around a lot, but he's been dying way too much for what needs to happen in this early game. Like, this meta seems to be very much about getting those early kills and using it to snowball and putting more incentive onto the mid lane. So I think NIGMA, they're coordinated together enough that they're going to have, for example, the supports rotating through at that 4-minute mark, making sure Weeha gets the first power rune that he can. And I think GAMBIT really just need to avoid being picked off just prior to that so that they can actually contest.
Mm-hmm. And then if GAMBIT looks to maybe continue the regression, which, as you said, has probably been slightly too much, they do have to worry about the fact that a Nature's Prophet can instantly show up and change the numbers. So it's going to be hard for them just to be aggressive because of that. They'll always almost be at a numbers disadvantage.
Absolutely, and with the Prophet as well, I'm interested to see how NIGMA are going to structure their lanes. It could be a situation where you secure Nature's Prophet this Chen potential, because Chen, very strong laner, good attack range. He's obviously got the Divine Favor, which makes all of your regen really impactful. And, it just means that you can easily turn a 3v3 situation into a 4v3 situation by having Miracle, assuming he is the Nature's Prophet, TP down and make an impact in that way.
I guess we'll get a little better idea of exactly who's playing what once this fourth pick comes out, and they're definitely digging into their bonus time here. So,
Yeah, I wonder who they're going to pick up. I'm thinking the Abaddon's going to be a mind control hero. It's ever since the self-denies got removed, it's not really that position 5 style. It's not a mid hero, absolutely. Probably going to see the Kuro hero come out at this point.
the problem with Abaddon in this draft is how strong of a counter Monkey King is to him. That is an almost impossible lane. So they might be interesting. I wonder if they're trying to force the Monkey to move. How does Monkey do against Viper?
Not great.
Yeah, okay, so he's not going to move.
Range. Yeah. I mean, the thing is as well, you're going to run this Viper, right? Because you've got the Queen of Pain that you could just easily run mid, and it's not too bad. The thing with Gambit as well, with this draft, it's not super flexible. It's pretty obvious where at least 3 of these heroes are going to be going. I'd say honestly all 4. Whereas NIGMA, they've still kind of got a little bit of that ambiguity. You don't know if this Nature's Prophet is going to be a core. You don't know if it's going to be an off lane. You'll need to wait and see. And the thing is, I feel like Prophet's going to be position 1. Just because of the way that Miracle's been building it lately. You know, he goes this super active style, especially considering that against a Quap 2, he goes an early blade mail so that he can kind of be like, well, if you focus me, the main damage dealer, you're going to take a ton of damage anyway, and then my Viper and my Abaddon are going to be able to clean up the fight in that way. And then pretty soon after that,
Seconds.
Gambit?
yeah, you would think so.
Radiant team wins.
Ooh, a Sand King. Okay, well, that's definitely going to be the mind control hero. He's been playing it, well, probably, I would say. It could be a GH hero as well. Mind control played it to insane effectiveness recently, just creating a ton of space around the map, and shoving the waves in becomes very easy. Like an Earthshaker and a Chen, they don't do a great job at pushing waves. Sand King does, and that just means that you're able to, with your other support hero a lot more effectively and make these team fights happen. So NIGMA, I think they're going to be incredibly active, create some space for this Sand King to get an early Blink Dagger, and then try and win the game from then.
And as you said, it's going to be hard for Gambit to deep push. They don't have, they don't have the hero that can, the AUI TI5 4 position split push lanes type hero.
Yeah, unless they look to pick it up now. No, it's going to be a raid. Run this. It's something that's come a little bit out of left field for them.
You know what's cooking?
Okay, so we have Viper. GH is playing. So is it a position 5 Abaddon?
I would, that Monkey King matchup is really, really rough to play. It is one of the strongest counters in the game. And I think with how much they like their offlane, NIGMA loves their offlane to really be a playmaker and make a big difference. I think if you throw Abaddon into that role, especially landing up against the Monkey King, you just run into some timing issues because you need to take some time to just... I'm an Abaddon spammer. I play this hero a lot. This is like the one hero that I will comfortable talking about this on. But you have to take some time to get up your levels farm, and if he's doing that, then the Sand King isn't really that. The switch to make sure that the other heroes have the space to do what they need to do.
What position do you normally play it in?
I mostly
try and get a better trade out of this, what could still potentially be a tri lane. And interesting to note as well, it's going to be Blizzy playing Queen of Pain in the off lane, and it's going to be Razor mid GPK.
And there's the beauty, the flex fix.
Just insane. We were setting it up from the very...
Oh, that is concerning. We were, you know, we were 2-4.
队友呢？
Oh man, I missed all these battle pass line.
I'm not gonna lie, it's a little disconcerting for me. So, you know, I might get thrown off just a little bit. Channel spammer.
See, I feel like the next La Card Maratard meme is just going to be a lot simpler. It's going to be like the moose coming out, for example. For example.
So right now, we've got, well, I mean, we have a lovely little outpost trade going. Which bounty rune are they going to prioritize? Are there going to be any fights? And so up top, Mind Control has Sandstorm first, is just going to fight with Blizzy over who can click faster.
Hold up, so Miracle's actually going mid. Huh.
I
Some little...
wondered why he was base. I mean, I guess just making trees and regenning mana. But
You wanna change things up? You wanna try and take advantage of you know, Viper or someone else that might want to get a little bit closer? Well, Prophet's got a pretty good attack range.
and there is that aggressive tri-lane that you were saying might be a possibility. So we've got Kuro GH and then Weeha in the off lane, really pressuring this monkey, trying to make him as miserable as possible.
From the very beginning, he's going to be taking a lot of damage here. He's standing underneath the tower, so with the Chen there, with the Divine Favor and the headdress, he's always going to have a decent time. Not going to have too much regen, but I think this game's going to be heavily dependent on how effective this top side goes.
Sure.
Which now Mind Control just forced back off the Queen of Pain harass. You know, Blizzy doing a good job of pushing
He's already
her back.
getting dived. Like, this is your position 1 Monkey King, and he's going to go down.
It was a nice little attempt at a dodge, but I don't think that was going to be quite enough. And look at this lovely spray on the ground.
That's a pretty high level one as well. Us. Yeah, pumped the dollars into it.
Yeah, you have to invest in the tilt, but they've moved. They've got 3 here at the top for Gambit. Just interesting running their own aggressive tri-lane and just... are they going to rotate Monkey up top potentially? And they're just prepping for that?
So good.
Yeah. So
Your chain going down.
they've moved Blizzy bottom, and they're moving Monkey King over to the off lane.
Sure, it's fine, but you always have that second mover advantage. You know, you can structure the lane however you want because they don't have a TP to then respond to it.
Here from GA just to place a ward. He's probably, I assume, looking for a courier right now.
Gonna come for a little bit. Okay. Not having the worst time in mid. He's out CSing Miracle, which is pretty standard when you've got that static link leveled up.
And
See here, the rotations through from GH. Not even having to use the TP, so trying to get a bit of a backstab happening here. Some harass onto X-Vampire especially.
and they are pinging it out, so X-Vampire saw GH rotating in. And he'll just be up here to keep giving Dream a hard time. I was like, oh, is something happening? No, he's just
And this is the thing that you can do with Kuro, you know, he's running at this Chen, just doing a ton of damage to him, and there's not really too much that you can do, you know. With a Chen, you typically want to abuse the fact that you've got one of the longest attack ranges in the game as a support, but if you've got an Abaddon that has insane movement speed at level 1, there's not really too much that you can do. He's got a ton of sustain himself, so he's not in danger of dying, and then when he eventually does build up his boots of speed, what can you do?
This Bassi on Abaddon is especially frustrating just because that mana regen is so effective, the sustain that you were mentioning. Now, the headdress on Chen, he heals from the Abaddon harass. And
standing underneath the T1 tower as well also helps. 1 HP. Are they going to
I feel
GH
better
on the
already.
top side? 5 seconds the balance, and doesn't look like
do lose 10 down bot again. So that's 2 deaths on Chen here so far. So not having a great start to his game. And now it's time for the 5-minute bounties. Looks like I think NIGMA should get both of theirs. It doesn't look like any fights over them though.
it's one of the advantages, right, of having this lane pushed up so aggressively. You get a pick off onto the support, he can't contest it at all, and then what's Blizzy gonna do? Leave the lane and lose a whole wave of experience just to get 1 bounty rune? Probably not.
Yeah, and he has a full bottle, so he doesn't quite need the bounty regen at the moment. The way the spray goes up on the trees, as a side note, is very odd looking.
I guess it makes it a bit more like real graffiti, right?
And they're going on GH here, trying to get a body block from X-Vampire and a stun out from Dream, and one more last hit. And there is a first kill on the board for Gambit.
Guess that was
And it's definitely the hero that needed it. He's sitting at a not too bad spot in terms of the CS, but it's definitely Weeha that's taking control of that right now with those couple of early kills. And I'm a little surprised at how well, in terms of actual net worth, Miracle's doing. You know, like up against a Razor, there's not really too much that you can do early on. For a gank here, Wrath of Nathan.
And that was X-Vampire. He smoked up to ward and potentially do something middle, and Miracle just turned it around on him. I don't think he was prepared for that damage, and that's what you were talking about in the draft, is Gambit sometimes needs to watch the feed on that position 4.
Yeah, it's his first death, so it's kind of excusable, and he did the rotation through. Oh man, look at this. This is what we were talking about before. Miracle, he's just able to TP up to the top side, and Dream, he goes down. It's probably the one saving grace of their draft up until that point, or their play, rather, the early game.
Was that they hadn't lost him too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his second death after the first early dive. But he was slowly catching up. We'll have to see if they continue to put that much pressure on him.
Yeah. Hearing a Chen recall happening for GBK here, so maybe they're going to be trying to make something happen, but no, he dies before he's able to get it off.
I think he was hoping for a bailout there, the phone a friend. Blizzy is just really getting heavily pressured here, which, granted, as an offlaner, you are used to taking that trade. But I'm not sure if they're getting enough on Dream.
It's so hard to contest into a Viper as this, right? He's got the 1 point into the corrosive skin, and even that's enough to make you back off. It's the thing with Kuroki as well. He's got that Bassi ring like you mentioned before, and you're just able to spam out these poison attacks, this Nether Toxin. In addition to, you know, he's already got the Sobi mask on, Sage's mask rather, on on the Viper.
And
he's able to continue spamming.
And with the tread swapping, that adds such a massive amount of mana. I think a lot of people don't realize how powerful that can be, but it definitely enables his spamming if he makes use of it.
Here we go, Miracle TP down towards the bottom side. They're going to try and catch out Blizzy, but he's going to bail. He's got as much experience as he can put in this lane.
And time to back off. That is, first tower on the board for NIGMA, which I think we expected that they were going to be pretty active early, and you have a Nature's Prophet and an Abaddon.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, yeah, Kuro's on a bit of a warding mission. He's just placed this one down inside the Dire jungle. And really, now that this tier 1 tower's gone, you cannot move into your jungle. So I think Gambit needs to make a lot more aggressive plays, try and make stuff happen on the top side of the map, which, to his credit, YYY is doing on his Chen. He's still only level 3 though, so when these Bounty Rune and Outpost contests start to happen, which they'll need to, you know, currently Gambit has nothing. It's going to be a bit rough for him.
Yeah, and Kuro is rotating in. I think it's going to be rough right now for Gambit. They catch up his Chen. Yep.
Taken out, which is pretty important.
And top lane, yeah, looks like Dream's going to be in trouble.
Might be okay. He's got the Jingu.
And the rotation in from Blizzy. Kuro has a shield here in 1 second and denied.
Oh.
Wow.
Styling on him.
Well,
See, Vampire. He's rotating towards mid, but there was 20 seconds left until these outposts are going to be claimed, and you'd be in too much danger of getting gone on if you try and the radio. Scary, but you know the Viper had just died. He's already TP'd top and showed that, and no Kuroki can. It just feels like they're playing in a position to lose as opposed to try and win, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. They're really just holding on right now to try and get their levels up. When you have a Chen who's full and a half at 10 minutes, I'm not sure exactly what moves they can make for playing to win.
Yeah, he's trying to rush that mech as much as he can, getting a few neutral items for his team, which is very important when NIGMA are going to be turning up the tempo very shortly. Is a completed blade mail coming out to Miracle? Yeah, it is. So it's going to be finalized by the 11-minute mark.
NIGMA, they're ready to keep fighting and keep adding that pressure. And how Mind Control is about a little less than halfway to his Blink Dagger. Taking a nice stack here, so they won't even have to delay too much longer for him. And what does Gambit have to have online in order to hold out against Sandy Blink?
Mech on the check, I guess, but and tried his best, but there's only much that you can do. You know, it's turn around Echo, I suppose, for Vampire, but he's well picking up his Blink, and I think NIGMA are playing this perfectly. You know, you've got Miracle safely farming on the bottom side of the map, you've got complete vision, so you know where he's going to get contested, and Sand King, he's farming up this little bit more dangerous farm because he's got that escape potential, but you've got the level 6 on the Abaddon, so he's not going to die if he gets gone on. GH has got the Arcane Boots, so he's fighting fit. Of course, he's just a tanky frontlining Viper, So
you're saying it's going to be hard for Gambit to sum that up. Yeah, let's pop it over to net worth with Miracle sitting at the charts now. Razor isn't doing too badly, but as you said, GPK does have he had a strong matchup in mid, and for the most part, mid was left alone. So they're gonna have to lean on him to really hold out in these fights, and the early drums does give him the ability to fight sooner, and you know, maybe they'll be able to turn something. This is dangerous here. I think Dream's in a lot of trouble. Now the ultimate does come out from Blizzy, taking out the Rubik. Dream has already fallen, and here comes Miracle. Blizzy gets the TP, so it's a 1-for-1 trade, but that is a carry for a position 4.
I mean, it's the right type of rotation to make because you do need to cement some sort of map control for yourself. And sure, they're able to get a Rubik for it, but they're just not in the position to be able to take that just yet because of how dominant the laning stage went for NIGMA. You know, if Chen, for example, had level 6, had that Hand of God, had the mechanism, then, you know, Monkey King doesn't die that easily. You get a lot more effectiveness out of Kong's command, and maybe you can turn it around. Case.
And not even close to thinking about a Blink Dagger at this point, so they won't have the turn potential from him or initiation. And poor Blizzy, so you know, Nature's Prophet came down to the bottom lane and just hit him twice, and he had to back off completely and bring out some regen, so he's continuing to have a rough time.
Just see him here. That's the thing you do. He's pushed in the lane, had his creeps that can just very easily help to continue this push form. so everyone's going to be taking a lot of damage, as well as take really quickly most of a bonus. Only the one really needed get a big benefit.
It's unfortunate. The old was much more fun for pushing, but probably a little bit imbalanced when it would give everybody massive bonuses.
And I like the fact that he's mass teleportation, right? So a lot of action happening on top side. He can TP if he wants to. Yeah, he's going for it again.
And that's so Chen is down for now. Yeah, GPK blocked out by all of these little treants. Should be able to run it away though. And a Viper ultimate out onto the Monkey King. Looks like Dream is going to fall once again. He turns to fight, but doesn't even get the full Jingu stacks up onto Crow.
It's looking pretty rough. Like Mind Control's won the lottery, if the HUD is to be believed. He's got points spilling out of his pockets.
I still don't fully understand what all of them are. There's a fire one, which I assume is kill streaks. There's a blue one. And now there's
blue
gold.
Kill streaks, yeah.
Kind of reward, I don't know. Poor Blizzy. It's just getting bullied everywhere across the map. And that is a smoke. So, this Rubik and Sand King looking to see what they can happen. The Blink Dagger is up on Mind Control, and I'm not sure if that's been revealed yet. They might be looking to take advantage of that power spike.
Yeah, I mean, I think they saw the Blink once when they went for that follow-up kill onto, I want to say, the Viper in the mid lane after the body block, but only having 2 points at the time skilled into the Burrow Strike meant that he didn't quite have the range.
And this is a full NIGMA gearing up to take this tier 2. And their positioning, if Fox Hive go and get caught. But they don't reveal that they're all there because they're just hanging out on this high ground by these.
Yeah, I mean, look at how aggressive the vision. 3 observer wards side, basically saying, look, in any sort of position to be able to try and contest this. And Guru, even the position 5, he can just put himself right at the front. They're not worried about any team fights out right now because they have complete vision.
If anything, they prefer one breaking out because they take a tier 3.
Yeah. Look at this. It's like 4 observer wards within a small little area. What can you really do?
Well, that's...
And then...
if GAMBIT was for a fight, I think that...
something back on the map. Of course, the rotation potential is always just such a concern.
And Chen finally has his mechanism, so that totally...
benefit as well, you know, pick off first.
Which, right now, they are going... once again, doesn't even have a chance to get the mechanism off.
Actually, they're changing their minds. They're trying to go onto Dream, just missing. The Nature's call there. Be able to get it. So, good. But, I mean, there is an ideal. I should know at this point. Amounts of based around how they were taking these team fights, going aggressively forward into Vampire. This is not what you time be playing this style, right? You can't be playing behind right now. You need to try and something risky, bring your team back into the game.
He did. I mean, he got these NIGMA. Well, they might be doing that here. That slightly. Blizzy has the Necro book complete now with an Invis rune. And everyone has ultimates up. Nice as Vampire. Still not really much closer to the Blink Dagger than he was when we checked about 4 minutes ago. I think he's gotten about 300 gold.
And it's not like NIGMA have to end now, right? Like, President die.
Ultimate from the Sand King and a Dead Earth Shaker. Didn't lose any gold though. this, and now take him out. Just forward on. Also, but a strong mind control. Weehaw on the high ground. Can Dream make it out? He's TPing, and he dies in the fountain.
That bonus damage, it's got.
What the just happened? What
wait,
the
they get-
just
Yeah, they
happened?
also got GPK on the other side.
Yeah. But he baits out another couple of kills onto the cores, the real value targets. NIGMA, they're only 200 gold away or so from lads, which is just gonna expedite this this pushing potential. GH is close to dagger, really effective. And like we were talking about in the draft, that Heaven's Halberd is coming out very shortly for the Nature's Prophet as well.
Yeah, after his 17-minute MKB.
Yeah, just, you know, just miracle things.
He did lose his courier, so he's courierless for a bit here. He sniped it.
The Chen again. Fingers back, he's like, I don't want to die at me.
Now. B now. Back. Gold raining down. Too, so there's him and Sand King are little gold buddies, and I think NIGMA onto Kuro.
Everything they could possibly want as well. Like before about spam and needing to not die so much, but it feels like he's playing way too passive right now. You've got halfway to your blink dagger, offsides the area that you really going to be able to get a kill onto? Probably not.
And GPK. GPK will.
Got Miracle here to try. That bar is going to clean him up.
And that is the fourth one falling. Enigma should be able to crack the base right here.
That's what I was thinking. Of course, the fight. To be given out, you know, it just looked perfect from the draft, bamboozling them a little bit, not being so obvious, having those flex picks available, and then perfect laning setup. Play in the aggression when you need to, exploiting the Gambit didn't have vision on certain.
Top tower has fallen. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Wow.